Jeremy Pryor wrote a book, Family Revision, and he said something in his book that is so horrifying to me, yet so true in our modern culture. He says, in today's Western culture, this work-based identity, as distinct from one's family identity, is a modern phenomenon that didn't exist in the same way in the past, and it is still resisted in many cultures around the world today. Today, a man could have an amazing career, leave his family in ruins, and still be considered a truly great man. If you're like me, you have to rehear that and let that sink in. Only in our Western culture can a man have an amazing career, leave his family in ruins, and still be considered a truly great man. Do you believe that's true? Think about the men that you admire or that you find greatness in. Why do you think that they're great? Is it only because of what they do in their career? If you found out that they left their family in despair, would you still think that they were great? We're going to unpack this change in our Western culture and how it's affecting entrepreneurs and what we can do about it. Before we unpack the importance of family today, can you please unpack that subscription button and iron it out by giving it a firm press and hand wash the like button as it needs a nice cleaning. And if you do, let me know and I'll give you a shout out in the comments. Let's hit this problem head on, why don't we? Western culture rewards success in business more than success within your family. If you don't think that's true, just think about the people that you admire outside of your own sphere. Entrepreneurs that you find America praises. People like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, or how about the late Steve Jobs, or Grant Cardone. Why do you admire them? 99% of the time it's because it's what they have done in business and how they performed in their career. And the world has rewarded them significantly for what they have done.
If you're not making money, you are not the best.
But now let's flip it around. How do these men stack up in their personal lives, at home, with their families? Do they have broken relationships when it comes to marriage or parenting or their closest relationships? I'll let you research that yourself. And if you pulled back the curtain on their personal life and what their personal life was really like, would you still admire them? In your pursuit of becoming a successful business owner, do you also tell yourself, man, I hope my wife leaves me one day, or I hope my kids hate me and want nothing to do with me as they grow up?
Well, don't look at me like I'm frickin' Frankenstein. Give your father a hug. Don't touch me.
Have you ever wished that? Do you think any of these successful men have wished that?
No way, Jose.
Since the world rewards success in business more than success within family, and men are constantly in the search for more significance in their life, they gravitate more towards what they do in their career rather than how they lead their family. The biggest question that a man will ask himself is, does my life matter? And most of us men desperately want our lives to actually mean something. And in Western culture, we can easily find this false sense of importance within our businesses. That's what I foolishly did. So we gravitate more towards our business and we obsess over it. And sometimes we leave everything else behind, even our own family, just to gain more importance in our career. And we're applauded for it, because the better we perform in our business world, the more stages we get on, the more interviews we have, the more people respect us and admire us, and the more we feel significant and important. And the world gives us a roaring applause, and it feels good. Heck, it feels a lot better leading a business and feeling important on most days than it does leading and raising a family, especially in this modern culture. Raising a family is hard, and at home we might have kids that talk back to us. They don't respect us or listen to us.
I don't go to school and I kill people. Whatever, I do what I want.
And who wants to come home after doing a 6-figure deal to change your baby's poopy diaper?
I work on Wall Street, you know, with the big buildings. I live in an apartment with a doorman, and I can buy almost anything I want. Oh, holy mother of God. Oh.
It doesn't sound that fun, does it? And it sure doesn't sound significant. As a business owner, we pay someone else to do all these crappy jobs, but at home, we have to clean the crap out ourselves, literally. So as time goes on and we are rewarded more and more as a successful businessman, and we feel very important in that, and the less important or respected we feel at home, we tend to drift from our family into this false significance. and we put all of our identity into our career, and our family ends up being damaged and broken. This is a big problem. Have men always put more emphasis on what they do for a living rather than leading their family? I started to do some research to see what men valued throughout history. Were the thoughts still the same, or did men think differently? One of the best resources I gleaned from in my search is a book titled Family Revisions by Jeremy Pryor. It goes through family life and culture all the way back to early biblical periods up through our modern culture today. I found that through most of history, even up until 100 years ago in American culture, most of mankind has viewed family with so much more value than what we do today. You see, Americans today live in an individualistic society. Even though we were born into a God-created family, we are bombarded with messages that tell us to go out, make your own path, be your own person, and live your own life. And we praise the individual. We live in an individual society where a modern family isn't typically valued well, and it becomes fractured and distant. However, historically, the classical family has been a key to most societies surviving and thriving. In the classical family, the man would go out and he would work. He would gather resources for his family, and he was the protector of the family. And the wife and children looked up to the man of the family with great joy and respect. And the family was more of a team, one unit, and they didn't separate individually. When one person succeeded, the whole family succeeded. Through thick or thin, the whole family was in it together. Jeremy Pryor says a father in the classical paradigm identifies at a far deeper level with his children as his children. Thinking of abandoning his family would be like imagining cutting off his right arm because he sees each of them as a part of himself. Wow! Isn't that a drastically different view compared to our view of family in today's society? I wonder what would happen if we literally implemented that in our society today. If you leave your family, your right arm gets cut off. Whoa, that's pretty brutal. It's hard to imagine. But that's what we're doing. Maybe not in a physical sense, but in a relational, spiritual, or familial sense. We're causing major injuries to ourselves with harmful long-term effects. In the biblical view of family, a man marries a woman and they become one. In Genesis 2, when God first designed a family, it says, "For this reason a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined with his wife, and they shall become one flesh." And when Jesus was asked about this in Matthew 19, he says, "So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let not man separate." Jesus said nothing should separate or come between a man and his wife. And in Ephesians 5, it says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ has loved the church and gave himself for her." Christ suffered a horrible death for us to receive forgiveness and righteousness from him. In the same way, we should be willing to sacrifice our own lives for our wives, even if that means giving up a business dream. So we have this historical and biblical view of the classic family, and then we have today's broken cultural view, touting our individualistic mindset, which says, do what's best for you, even at the expense of others. Our culture plays to our egos, and it says go bigger, faster, stronger, or higher, so you can get more praise for yourself. But this praise we receive becomes a deceitful trap that leaves us losing what God tells us is supposed to be one of our most valued treasures. Psalm 127 says, "Children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from him." And Proverbs 5 says, "Let your wife be a fountain of blessing for you. Rejoice in the wife of your youth." And Malachi 2 says, "Didn't the Lord make you one with your wife? In body and in spirit you are his." And what does he want? Godly children from your union. So guard your heart. Remain loyal to the wife of your youth, for I hate divorce, says the Lord. So how do we shift our focus back onto our family? How can we feel gratified that our family is our greatest achievement? First, we need to humble ourselves. The sooner I realize that my life isn't just about me, but it's about others, and many times putting others first, especially when it comes to my family, I will actually enjoy the opportunity to serve the ones I love. Even though sometimes they may be ungrateful, if I take on the mindset that my life is not just for me anymore, but it's for my family and what's best for all of us, you will still feel great accomplishment in loving and serving them. I find great pleasure in seeing my children grow a little more each day. It's much more pleasurable than seeing my business grow. And remember this, you may not be grateful for what your wife or kids do for you either. Remember that your poop stinks too.
Where you at? In the bathroom.
So humble yourself and be thankful you even have a family who puts up with you and even loves you. Also, take time to make a family plan. Just like you make a plan for your business, make a plan for your family. You don't just show up to your business late, slacking off, unfocused, and disorganized. You go hard at your business with everything you've got. You have a vision for your business and where you want to grow to, and you develop discipline and put in hard work to make sure that it grows the proper way. You need to plan and initiate with your family, just like in your business, except your family is even more important. Talk with your wife about your hopes and your dreams and what they are for your family. And you can even include your kids and have family meetings to see what's in their hearts. There are many ways that you can accomplish this, but it isn't just going to happen. Be the leader you're supposed to be and learn how to lead your family well. Divorces usually don't happen overnight, and kids typically don't resent their parents overnight either. It usually takes time for these relationships to slowly deteriorate. And it's easy to be tired when you get home from work and you feel like you have nothing left to give. So you slump off with your family, giving them your worst instead of your best. Families deteriorate when you aren't disciplined with your family and when you don't invest properly in them. So take time to invest in your family. It will be one of the greatest joys and achievements you could ever hope for.